Here I am, once again, trying to peek outside of my death metal bubble. And I've heard a lot of hype around Bad Omens, but I've never given them a chance. And they've got a new album coming out this Friday, May the 31st. It's called Concrete Jungle OST. And I figure, what better time than now to check them out? So let's give them a listen. Get up! Damn, this is the hottest pop rock band I've been hearing about. This is the band that's been blowing up on TikTok. That was heavy. Let's check out another one. Oh, right. Yeah. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's riff of the week. All right, we're checking out Bad Omens, and like always, whenever I'm looking into a band that I'm unfamiliar with, I started at the first album and I worked my way up to now. And whoa, Bad Omens has been on a journey. This first record is heavy, and since I'm new to the Bad Omens scene, y'all gotta let me know in the comments. Are there people doing that whole bit of, the first album was better, man? While their self-titled debut is definitely more my speed as a metalhead, I find their direction recently interesting. And I don't want to be that guy, so let's jump into it. When Bad Omens first hit the scene, they drew a lot of comparisons to Bring Me the Horizon. Now, Bring Me the Horizon is another one of those metalcore bands that I don't really have a lot of familiarity with. I don't really come across their music that much over here in my death metal bubble. So I can't really speak to that comparison on whether or not Bad Omens sounds like Bring Me the Horizon. But it's interesting because without that context, I made some other comparisons. Listening to this first album, I'm thinking that they sound a lot like Linkin Park meets Breaking Benjamin. I've learned a lot, but it took me too long to find out who I am. And now that you've heard it, y'all tell me I'm wrong about those influences. And those lyrics, man. Fuck that, fuck this. If you're gonna burn a bridge, you better hold your breath and learn to swim. That's killer. And I mean, after listening to all of their albums, I gotta say, I think Bad Omens are great lyricists. I'm gonna be pointing out a bunch of these lyrics because so many of them caught my attention, like The Reprise. There's 1,000 voices in my head. I just hope it doesn't take a rope around my neck to put them all to rest. That's strong. They're really good at writing lyrics that aren't right on the nose, but they still allude to things and use metaphor without being so artsy-fartsy that it could really be about anything, or worse, lyrics that are really about nothing. But, it sounds deep and evil because you use dark words and imagery. I'm looking at you, black metal bands. And now moving on to their sophomore album, Finding God Before God Finds Me, I'm starting to hear this shift in direction. It's not complete yet, it's just the beginning, but I can definitely hear the opening salvos. Do you think they changed their sound because they got sick and tired of all the Bring Me the Horizon comparisons? If that's the case, it's kind of ironic because look at where Bring Me the Horizon is now in comparison to where they were in 2016. Anyway, I fire up the new record and I was immediately blown away because of the opening track, Kingdom of Cards. Yo, that's almost a sea shanty. And I love that. Not because I'm some sort of freak about sea shanties, but I just love oddities in a band's catalog, and there's no other Bad Omens song that sounds like this one. There's a lot of pop rock on this record too, but they also gave us some straight up headbangers like Dethrone. And again, the lyrics, I love this line. Here I am, take me to the pearly gates so I can look you in the eye when I spit in your face. That's so heavy. And what about blood? There's no rest for the wicked. There's not a home underneath the mud. And we're all dead, so what's the difference between a god and a fucking gun? Blood. And if that isn't enough blasphemy for you, check out the song Mercy. When we fade into nothing, when we go up in the smoke, we'll beg God for a mercy that he knows we'd never show. Damn, these are good lyrics. Lots of existentialism and anger towards the lack of meaning or justice in this life. And then we move to their third album, The Death of Peace of Mind. I think this is who Bad Omens are. It took them a couple of records to find their own sound. It took several dozen songs for Noah Sebastian to find his own voice. I don't think anyone would compare him to Ollie Sykes anymore. The record begins with an EDM beat, and after listening to all of it, I really think that now they write that part first. They start as electronic songs, and then they add the rock and the guitar parts later. Whereas most metalcore bands, they start with the guitar riff, and then electronics are added as accents afterwards. These songs are electronic songs first, and in my opinion, that makes them better electronic songs. I also feel that Noah must have been listening to a lot of The Weeknd leading up to this album. I can just hear that influence all over his vocals and different cadences. This is certainly a pop album with heavy parts. And Noah has a small gripe with metalheads like me saying something like that.
Words, and again, more so like the metal community that kind of, I've noticed they sum everything that's not rock or metal into pop. Like there's not so many variations of pop, like dark pop and indie and like bedroom pop or whatever, and they kind of all just reduce it down to just pop.
And to that I would say, yeah, dude, it's pop. It is pop. And you're right, there's a million different subgenres of pop, and not all pop is created equal. That's certainly true. It's the same thing as calling some sort of heavy music metal. There's a million subgenres of metal, and not all metal is the same. It's just a big umbrella term. Pop is a big umbrella. Metal is a big umbrella. Folk is a big umbrella. Electronic music, big umbrella. So because there's a lot of different sounds underneath that umbrella, it doesn't make it a value judgment. Now, I will admit, there's a lot of metalheads that throw that word pop around like a pejorative. I've certainly done it at times, but really, when I say something's pop, I don't always mean it as a bad thing. I mean, there's certain pop that I like. I love that new Silk Sonic record. And what was popular in the 80s? Hair metal. Dude, Ozzy was a pop artist. He toured with Motley Crue. I won't accept any Ozzy slander around these parts. Anyway, we all know that Bad Omens blew up from their song Just Pretend. And the band will readily admit that they started writing that song as a pop song, as a joke. They did it on purpose, and then it just turned out to be a great song.
How do you feel about that song being the introduction maybe for some people? Do you think it's a good foot forward? Do you think it's a good representation of you guys?
I think it is a good song. It really is. Like, we kind of wrote it as sort of a prank, and just like, look at us writing this radio song. And like the first version of it was just kind of Noah kind of making it sound kind of butt rocky and just like for fun, like listen to, and then we kind of just made it more serious, like added the good lyrics to it, and then we was just like, you know what, this is a pretty good song, and then what do you know, people liked it, you know.
That's cool. You don't need to defend it, but it's not like that song is a one-off. Just listen to the title track of that record, you know, The Death of Peace of Mind. That's a sexy ass pop song. And remember back to the Sleep Token episode, what did we attribute a portion of their success to? Sex. There is a demand for songs about sex in the metal community, and fucking death metal bands sure as shit ain't providing that. I mean, just listen to the Bad Omens song, Bad Decisions. This is a song written for that type of girl that posts a lot of memes on social media about not liking drama, but somehow they always wind up being in some drama. This is a song written for that chick, no doubt about it. And by the way, a lot of drama with a lot of different people. You start to wonder who's the common denominator in this equation. No God, no religion, just bad decisions. You can be all I got. What's the difference? Hennessy and a lot of bad decisions. All I know is bad decisions. All I'm saying is there's been a lot of baddies making Instagram reels with that song. But hey, They threw us headbangers a bone too. That song, Artificial Suicide, is so heavy. And that leads us to their upcoming album, Concrete Jungle OST, again coming out this Friday, May the 31st. And I think that they're going to go even further in this industrial direction. Maybe even less pop, maybe more industrial. I don't know. I haven't heard the full album, but they have given us clues. First of all, it's 26 tracks. That's a lot of songs for it to not be a double album. So I'm expecting a lot of short songs, and I think they're mostly going to be remixes, electronic remixes. I mean, the title track, Concrete Jungle, is for sure a remix of an older Bad Omens song, and one of the singles they released is a remix from the last album, The Death of Peace of Mind. Just look at this album art. That's for sure an EDM art style, but I don't think it's going to be only remixes. I do believe we'll get some new songs as well. For instance, the latest single is a brand new song featuring Poppy. Yep, that Poppy. We just did an episode a few weeks back about the new Knocked Loose record, which also had a guest appearance from Poppy. And God bless Poppy. Get after these metal bands. I love it. And it's heavy too. So you know I'm gonna love it. And I've really been enjoying, as a death metal person in my little bubble of extreme metal, I've really been enjoying peeking out and exploring bands that I'm unfamiliar with. The last time we did an episode in this series of Death Metal Fan Discovers Metalcore, we did it on this band Boundaries and the other band While She Sleeps. That was a fun episode. If you're on YouTube and you want to check that podcast out, just click right here. If you're audio only, links in the description. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I